Welcome back to Backroom Convos. I'm your host at the most, Lesego M report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy, like Cairo. Second episode of the day. This is the episode that we initially supposed to release, but because we didn't release an episode yesterday, hence we're releasing this episode late at night. So yeah, I think it's Cartoons Tuesday with Lesego M. So I think today it is a very different segment of Backroom Convos with Lesego M. Please do not forget to follow, like, and subscribe to get a notification for each and every time we release a new episode. So initially it's Cartoons Tuesday. Last week we did Scott's Mapuma, and a lot of people enjoyed that episode. I was looking at the numbers as well, and a lot of people did enjoy that episode. Hopefully, with this episode as well, a lot of you will enjoy it. On the comment section, please do let me know what you think. I am your host with the most, Lesego M report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. So yeah, let's get over to it. I want us to actually speak about something right today. So Tyrese Gibson, is it Tyrese Gibson? I'm not sure the name of the actor, but Tyrese the Breakfast Club, if I may, he spoke about something profound, right? So he was speaking about Marvin Gaye. He was saying Guti, he was speaking basically about his marriage, right? He was saying, Guti, a lot of women are given power over men, and even in the constitution, like in most countries, even SA, like women have more power than men do, right? So he was actually saying, Guti, with the the Marvin Gaye story, he was saying Guti, Marvin Gaye in his divorce to like the late wife, may her soul rest in peace. She passed away in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So he was saying Guti, when they were married, separation, divorce, he was saying Guti, Marvin Gaye, through the process of divorce, he was asked, Guti, the album that he's supposed to release an album, he was supposed to release an album to pay obviously for like the child and maintenance basically for the wife, for the wife. And at the time, Marvin Gaye wasn't doing great. He was on cocaine, he was on PCP, if I'm not mistaken, the angel dust, as you may know it. So he wasn't doing well financially, he was not in a good place as well. So that happened, and financially was not in a good financial place. So I think the settlement agreement for Marvin Gaye was like, according to like Barry Goldman is the founder of Motown Records. For those of you who didn't know, so Barry's sister, the big sister, who is Anna Goldbeck, if I'm not mistaken, Anna Goldbeck Gay with the E, Marvin Gaye, Anna Goldbeck Gay is the name of the wife, the late wife, the Marvin Gaye. So what happened is, because the brother Barry Goldbeck is like the founder of the Motown Records, so the first album that Marvin Gaye released, which is What's Going On, was released under Motown Records, Barry being the founder of the record label, right? So as time progressed, 1977, I believe, that's when Marvin Gaye and Anna started dating. They hit it off. After, I don't remember, I think 1970, 1978, they separated, right? They separated, and on those court proceedings, the label, which is, the sister, the brother of Anna, who's married to Marvin Gaye, wanted a settlement of R1 million. So Marvin Gaye was not in a good financial space at that time. So he offered to pay, I think he offered to pay 305 on the settlement, and 50% of his royalties, meaning music publishing and performance right, basically. So everything Marvin Gaye he does on his performance, 50% of those, it goes to his ex-wife. And royalties as well, streaming, everything, it goes to his ex-wife. So that was the settlement with Marvin Gaye. So this this is like the reason behind the title of the album, called, which is like the 15th studio album of Marvin Gaye. The title of the album is called Here Dear. So Here Dear came after all those court proceedings, which took about 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. They took about 2 years, and after that, that's when they reached their conclusion. With, okay, we'll get a settlement of, instead of getting 1 million, we'll take 600K. He'll pay 305K and take 297 royalties from the album Here My Dear. So after that album, 1977, Marvin Gaye records the album And here, my dear, that's when the lady Anna Goldberg Gray, who his brother owns the Motown or is the founder of Motown Records, released under Motown Records, getting those royalties, 50% of that. Marvin Gaye released that album, which has about 12 or 14 tracks, 14, 14 track, 14 tracks. You know, it's an LP, not an EP. LP. He released 14 tracks. At the time when they released the album, it didn't do commercially. It was proclaimed a commercial failure. But over time, it was obviously acclaimed. What you call this? What's the word in English? I forgot the word in English. They critically acclaimed it as a masterpiece after years of like the album being released, right? So telling you that story, it was that he had to sacrifice his royalties after the marriage, and there was no kid involved. So every money, every cent that he made in that album, 50% of those royalties went to his ex-wife. And mind you, these people didn't have a kid, so he was getting that because of she was married to Marvin Gaye. And also, like Anna Goldberg Gay was also a businesswoman and also is like a composer. I think he wrote some of the songs in this album. And at some point, I think before the album was released, he wanted to sue uh he wanted to sue Marvin Gaye for invasion of privacy because the album was too personal to Marvin Gaye and to her because it was exposing a lot of the things that were happening within their marriage, right? So hence she wanted to sue him even after they reached an agreement. Yoguti, she'll be getting 200k out of this album. She still wanted to sue him, but it never happened. So that album, he dedicated that album to the wife, and the wife made what you call this. He made half of what the album made at the time, which was deemed a commercial failure for Marvin Gaye standard, right? So that's the story behind why we chose this particular album as the Cartoons Tuesday with Lesego M. So for those of you who didn't know the story, do let me know on the comment section what's your favorite song on the album. I'm your host with the most, Lesego M Data Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. And please do not forget to follow, like, and comment to get a notification each and every time we drop a new episode. So to give you a backstory between Marvin Gaye and the wife. So there was an age gap. There was an age gap of 17 years between Marvin Gaye and the first wife. The first wife was older than Marvin Gaye, and the cause of death for the wife, she died 2014. She was 92 years of age, if I'm not mistaken, and Marvin Gaye died. Well, she passed on through a gunshot, which later was said was voluntary manslaughter by the police. At the post, what you call this, an autopsy revealed that Marvin Gaye had what you call in his system. He had cocaine and PCP, which is called angel dust. So that was me giving you a backstory behind Marvin Gaye and how he passed on. And the person that shot him actually was his father, and he shot him with the gun that he bought him in 1977, if I'm not mistaken. So he shot him with that gun after an argument erupted between Marvin Gaye Sr. and the mother of Marvin Gaye happened. He stepped in and he got the bullet for the mother, and he passed on in his way going to hospital. So that's the story behind the album of today. Tunes Tuesday with Lesego. Please do let me know what you think about today's episode. I'm your host at the most, Lesego M Data Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. So yeah, man, on the comment section, what do you think we need to cover next week's episode? Do you think we need to have more of like the timelines of like your artists, give flowers to some of the artists? And I remember with the last week, Scott Mapuma is one of like the upcoming artists as well, and a lot of people on Spotify was streaming that episode a lot. So I don't know if we need to like do more of the OG or the upcoming, or mix of the two on in between. You do let me know in the comment section. So yeah, man, don't have the book of the day. I think the book of the day, I don't know if we should still keep the book of the day as the one we had earlier on, which is Billionaire Under Construction by DJ Boo. But I did look into something interesting as I was like doing research for this episode. So the book of the day is by Morgan Hessel. It's The Psychology of Money. The book was released on the 8th of September 2020 by Morgan Housel. For those of you who've read the book, please do let me know what you think on the comment section. Is it a good read? So let's just read some of the reviews of people that actually got to buy the book and read the book. So from people who bought the book from Amazon, ranked the book out of five, they gave it a 4 out of 7. And in exclusive books, they gave it 5 out of 5. Good Readers Warehouse, they give it a 5 out of 5. So generally, I would say this is a good book. It's a good read. So Google users rank this book 96% out of 100. So it is a good read for those of you who are interested in buying or reading the book. To let us know what you think about the book on the comment section. So the ones who are interested or people who are interested in buying the book or reading the book is 299, basically 300 rands for those of you who are curious about the price. So yeah, man, I am your host with the most again, Lesego M Daily Report. Please do not forget to follow, like, and subscribe to get a notification for each and every time I drop a new episode. Shout out to the people in Botswana. I saw on the podcast charts yesterday we were ranking at 6 because of the Scots Mapumas episode. That's why we were ranking number 6. So shout out to everyone who was streaming that episode. Do let us know again which episode or what you want to see or the guest you want to see on the podcast as well. And I know a lot of people have been asking for the video version of the podcast, which it is coming next year, June. I think that's when we'll be having the first episode of Backroom Convos with Lesego, video edition of it. Still trying to put some things together. And next month, as I said, on the first segment of the day or the episode that we recorded before this episode, I did mention Uguti, we are going on a podcast tour, but that will be happening on September. So we'll be like rounding up some of the radio station. We'll be going and talking about podcasting. So for those of you who are interested in some of the dates and interested in tuning in and listening to me engage with some of your radio presenters, do keep like watching all our social media platforms. And our website is www.backroomconvos with Lesego. Please do not forget to follow, like, and subscribe to get a notification again of when we release the new episode. And I just realized, Uguti, now we are on YouTube, but it's just the audio version. Just realized that now. So do let me know. Do you enjoy? What do you think we need to improve on? I did put up a poll earlier on of the first episode for the video podcast. Do let me know. But that poll, I don't know if we'll do a second poll in this episode, but you let me know in the comment section. So yeah, man, there was a backstory behind the episode of the Marvin Gaye thingy, the Cartoons Tuesday with Lesego M. So here, my dear, the backstory I gave it. What do you think about that story? To speak again on the inequality. They were speaking about inequality, why women are more protected than men when it comes to like the constitution, which is still the same thing in South Africa as well. Like women are more protected than men, and I gave that example of Marvin Gaye and his story and how he had to give up his royalties just to settle as a settlement in court. So yeah, man, do let me know what you think about that story, and if you do yourself have an interesting story, do let us know in the comment section. Maybe we might feature you on the next episode or the next episode of Tuesday Cartoons with Lesego M. So yeah, man, I think we've reached the end of today's episode, Cartoons Tuesday with Lesego M. So I didn't give you the numbers of Here's My Day by Marvin Gaye, which is the album. And the reason the album didn't do so well, I don't know the reasons why it didn't do so well, but I know a lot of people such as Kanye, Jay-Z, and Beyonce were inspired by this album. And I think I read some of the comments from people, or now specifically, they quote unquoted him speaking about this album specifically and how it had a huge impact in his career, in his music career. So yeah, I don't know if I should read that, or if you're interested, just go onto the website. We'll just put up the link to the Nas quote for those of you who are interested in reading it. So thank you for everyone who tuned in. I know for sure, Guti, a lot of people from Angola. I didn't mention Angola earlier on. I saw a question about why didn't I mention Angola? So I'm mentioning you now. Shout out to the people in Angola for listening as well. The second, or I think it's the third place or third listen place of the podcast. So shout out to the people in Angola for listening to the podcast. I really appreciate it. Me and the team, we really appreciate it. So what do you want to hear on the next episode of Backroom Convos with Lesego M? This is episode 130. So thank you for everyone who's been with us from the beginning to this point, 130. For episode 200, do you think we guys we need to do something for episode 200? Do let me know in the comment section. What would you like us to do for episode 200 on Backroom Convo with Lesego? Do let me know in the comment section. So the book of the day is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. For those of you who are interested, please do not forget to follow, like, and comment to get notification for each and every time we drop a new episode. I'm your host at the most, Lesego M, Daddy Report, aka Shoot Your Shot, and maybe you might get a chance to call me Daddy like Cairo. Have an amazing night. Cheers.